I'm on the volleyball team. So
Okay, gotcha.
where I'm doing my project on how the school doesn't really involve the women athletes into the weight room very much.
Okay,
And
yeah.
so especially for volleyball, it's a very like impact sport.
Yes.
And with knees and everything and ankles getting injured, I'm trying to bring more awareness to how weight training can kind of influence that and kind of help it. So I just had a couple questions for you just to kind of get some of your input on it. So one of my questions was, when you have women or girls coming in asking you to train, why is it, do you have more women coming in when they're older or when they're younger? Like just for...
It's interesting. So when it comes to training, I would say that the biggest demographic we have is actually middle-aged women. And a lot of times we have women coming in around their 50s that are coming in because they spent their entire life never really having the opportunity to take care of themselves physically because they're so busy taking care of their kids and their spouse and their life. They've never really had that time to invest in themselves. Now that the kids are kind of moving out of the house, going off to college, that's when they start to really invest in their health. So the biggest demographic we have are people in that category, women-wise.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to the younger age, it's a lot of times we have a lot of athletes, a lot of high school athletes going into college. I've got a lot of college athletes that we work with. And I'm starting to see a larger range of late 20s, early 30s women coming in. Because I have a feeling a lot of them are starting to see what their mothers had gone through when having to wait on taking care of their health.
Yeah.
And they're trying to go ahead and do that now and get that education now so that they can spend their entire life being a healthy individual instead of trying to play catch up later in life.
Okay, that makes sense. And do you think kind of like if the school system kind of put more information about how weightlifting can kind of help throughout, whether it be the coaches, whether it be the directors, do you think that could help benefit, have not say less women in their 50s come? Because that's also a great thing for them to come. Do you think that kind of just a topic of, if they start earlier, they don't need to come see you when they're 50, they can already come here, do your thing, get your input if they need more expertise, but do you think that could help?
I would definitely think so. So the goal of the coaches here, and the goal, in my opinion, of any health professional, is to educate the people that you're working with and giving them the tools to where they never need a coach for the rest of their life. And if you could do that on the front end, well, not only is that going to allow them to be healthier people through their life to where they don't have to reach out later in life to do more stuff, but it's going to prevent their need of having to take care of hospital bills because they're so unhealthy. They now have to pay for knee surgeries, back surgeries, diabetes, heart disease, things like that. The rate of obesity in America is increasing dramatically, also in kids. Especially since the pandemic, we saw a huge jump of kids that are obese. I've trained a couple kids since the pandemic that have come to us because the kids themselves gained 20 to 50 pounds in 1 year.
Wow.
So where I see a big need is for people to be able to actually be educated on the front end to create a better and healthy community, right? So how do we create a healthier community? Well, the sooner someone is educated and equipped with the proper tools, then when they have families, guess what they can do as a family? Be healthier.
Together,
so that creates a generational wealth of knowledge to help become a healthier person. So yeah, definitely I would think so.
Perfect.
So that's something that I would really say in your point, especially considering women mature faster biologically than men do. They need to be using the weight room just as much, if not more so, because women's tendons, biologically speaking, aren't as strong naturally as men's. So they have actually, in my opinion, a higher need to be more consistent to establish a safe environment for their body, muscularly speaking, skeletally speaking. Because if you're a volleyball player, it's a high impact sport. That's a huge damage on the skeletal frame. It's a huge damage on the muscle and the tendons. So there is a desperate need for you to be able to go in there and lift weights. I would say just as much, if arguably more, depending on the biological demands of the sport.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And also, when you're giving kind of a routine or teaching, is there is a difference between what you give to a guy and difference to a girl, or is it
Ooh,
is it
that's a
just
very good
is it just
question.
like a maybe obviously you guys are stronger most of the times, can lift more? Is it like a weight difference or is it like a technique difference?
Technique,
or,
no, because physiologically speaking, the anatomy of the body is pretty one-to-one when it comes to male and female. It's how they respond to stimuli is where there's change. So on my online coaching that I do, since I don't meet the clients in person, I have what's called a biofeedback form. So every week, and this is what I'm asking my clients the other week, so my female clients are actually letting me know where they're at in their cycle, because if one week they're really weak consistently, I can mark it to where they are in their cycle. So for example, there's a process in weightlifting called deloading. So that's where normally for men, it's every on pretty much on the 7th or 8th week of a workout program, they deload, meaning they do the workout but at a fraction of the intensity and volume that they are normally doing. For women, that occurs more on a monthly basis in regards to their cycle, to make sure that they're not dysregulating hormonal health. Because when a woman's on her cycle, then there's that 1 week of just straight chaos, right? They need to lower their stressors as much as possible. So exercise is shown to lower symptoms of ovulation. However, too much exercise can worsen them. So there's normally a more consistent deload in a female's workout program than in a male's workout program. Second to that as well, women tend to adapt to workouts faster than men do. So, for example, if I was going to put 5 pounds on your squat every time you worked out, men can normally continue to do that faster than women. So women need to enter and exit phases of training more frequently than men do, because their bodies tend to adapt to it quicker. Because you tend not to. It's the same reason why upper body workouts you adapt quicker to upper body than lower body. It's because there's less muscle in the upper body. So if I'm increasing 5 pounds on my bench press and squat at the same time on a workout to workout basis, bench press you would probably plateau quicker than squat, because squat has more muscles used, right? So for women, it's normally the stimulus variability is more frequent, and deloads happen more frequently. Outside of that, it's completely dependent upon the sport.
Alright, that was perfect.
Yeah, and if you have any other questions or